A stretch of road at Tourmakeady post office was chosen for the attack. The plan involved occupying the post office and cutting the telephone lines. The IRA volunteers had lines of return to their houses mapped for each of them. The IRA men in position were to be alerted to the time of departure of the convoy by a volunteer in Ballinrobe. It was normal for the RIC on the morning of their run to Dairy Park to place a provisions order at Birmingham's in Ballinrobe. It took time to fill this order, and this would allow word to be passed via a scout to those waiting in Tourmakeady.
Operations were begun on the night of Saturday, 30th of April 1921, with the assembly of men, arms and equipment at Cahir. The officers were the Brigadier Tom Maguire, Commandant Michael O'Brien and Captain Paddy May. Under cover of darkness, they moved on to Cushlach. Here, the party split, with one group under the command of Tom Burke boating across the lake, while the rest of the company went on foot. Boats were waiting at Pete Burke's of Cushlach, and 11 men from the Cltme.ie area were rowed over from there. It took about 3 hours for the boating party to cross the lake. The boatmen found it difficult to get their bearings in the dark, and a light, which should have been shown to guide them, was missing.
The rest of the column crossed the River Robe at Cushlach and on through Cray to Keel Bridge. This was the most dangerous section of the march, and the road each side of the bridge was well scouted. They eventually rejoined the Partry to Shra Road near the Derivore Bridge and met the men who had crossed by boat. Scouts from Shra said the road was clear, and on reaching Shra, the men were sent to safer houses higher up the mountain. There were now in the region of 60 men in the Shra area, and these numbers were made up of about 18 men from the flying column, while the others came from the battalions of Ballinrobe and Cross.
The role of the Shra unit of Cumann na in organising accommodation and food, and also in delivering messages, is an important factor in the ambush, though rarely mentioned.
Sunday, May the 1st, was a beautiful morning. All members of the IRA column lay low for fear of their presence becoming known to the police and military.
On Monday, guns and ammunition were inspected. An anecdote is told by Pat Kennedy of a man on the mountainside drying cartridges in the sun on a sheet of corrugated iron. Shotgun cartridges were the usual form of ammunition, and these were refilled with buckshot, which meant that some would not fit into the guns. The majority of the men were armed with shotguns, which were only useful at short range.
Commandant Michael O'Brien wrote in his last official report to the IRA GHQ that "We have absolutely no stuff. In the area there's some splendid roads for mining, but we have no mines. There are 3 police barracks in the area which might be attacked with every hope of success, but we have no explosives. We have no bombs. We have little shotgun ammunition."
The officers decided to go into ambush on the next morning, Tuesday 3rd of May. It is not known what information, if any, governed the making of this decision. The intelligence gathered for the attack did not explicitly state the day of the delivery, nor is it clear whether this intelligence was exact on the number of vehicles to expect as against the number that turned up.